Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I'm really excited to bring you this beautiful collection. This is the Passion Collection. It's all about dance and about music, and it's from our friends at Stamperia. I can't wait to show you what I've done with this, so come play with us. So let's start out by looking at this great 8x8 paper pad of Passion. This is got wonderful little cutouts. That's the cover, so I'm glad they were able to use that paper for something you're going to cut up. And then of course the rest are double-sided, beautiful, beautiful collaged papers. There's lots of pinks and blues and turquoise and tan, and lovely lace and bits of music and instruments, a little bit of a traveling theme with the trunk. I love this one with all of the different sheets of music. And then we've got another little page of cutouts on one side. They're little frames, and on the other side they're just blank for journaling. Beautiful. And look at this whole page of tags, little squares, little quilted sort of piece. Just gorgeous. And I have to tell you, it was so fun to play with. My daughter is a former ballet dancer, and I had a lot of fun. So then we've got sheets of rice paper. Gorgeous. This one is called Passion Violin and Traveling, and it's because it's got a trunk right here, and then we've got the violin. This one is Passion Music, Passion Roses and Music. There's a little right here, a collection of roses. This one is Passion Cards. They call it cards because each one of these pieces of rice paper rectangles represents like a card shape. And this one is Passion Petals, beautiful script writing with torn edge paper, and then you've got all this gorgeous roses and petals. And then we also have a collection of die cuts. There's 48 in this package. And there's beautiful, there's lots of ballet dancers in their tutus, and then just the beautiful dresses, the dancers, piano keys. It's got these great door pieces here, and some little titles, and lots of flowers, and then of course lots and lots of ballet slippers. Really fun to play with. Okay, move these out of the way. So the first thing I wanted to show you, is a slim line card. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit, Steve. Here's a thin line card, or slim line card, that is 3.5 by 8.5. And for this one, I took one of the papers and I cut it down. Of course, they're 8 inches, and I had a little bit to fill. So I just took a scrap of paper that I had cut down from another project and just glued that at the top and the bottom. And then I used a little bit of Lacy Trim's white lace, and I just glued that right over that seam. And then I got to use some of this fun chipboard. I just love this elongated shape of this ballerina, and used a little bit of pink ribbon from the pink ribbon set. I use this quite a bit on this one. I just made a little bow and then just glued these little chipboard flowers right there. And then for the greeting, this is inside outside greeting dazzles, and they're meant to go sort of like have a sentiment to go on the inside and one coordinating to go on the outside of your card. They come in all these different finishes. I used the gold for You Make Me Smile. And then I've got another one. This is a 5 by 6 inch card, and I used one of the door pieces here. I used one of the papers that was on the back. There's this great teal paper. Here we go, with this wonderful lace. So I used that right here, put the lace on the bottom. Once again, used a strip of paper that had a border on it, and then just added my chipboard pieces here and used one of those cutouts from the front cover and just put that on there with a little bit of foam tape, and then just a little sweet pink bow. So cards come together really easily with this collection. I wanted to show you this album that I did. And this is the 49 in Market Foundations #2 white album, okay? And it's got all these great fold out pages. So I wanted to start by showing you. I covered the spine by, once again, just putting a strip of 8 by 8 paper. Well, I guess it was about 2.5 by 8. And then of course, just covering a little strip here with a little extra scrap of paper. Used one of the tags here and then a couple chipboard pieces. And then just cut down one of the 8x8s here. Wanted to have that focal right on that page along the right side. And then took some of that beautiful lace right here, and then I folded those edges around. Same with this beautiful sparkly ribbon that actually comes in the light pink ribbon set. And then I added some flowers. This is this one is from 49 and Market, and these are Country Blooms, and the color is Punch. So it's a really nice mauve-y shade of pink. And I just added a couple of those little rose petals. And I like to just take these little rose buds. They come as more little tight buds here, and I like to just open them up a little bit. So let's open our album. Got the inside, oops, got a little inside piece here. I used opal polish. This is Lilac Rose opal polish. It's this great creamy paint, and even comes with a little applicator sponge. I use that around the edges and on the binding or the spine right here. Took another 8x8 page and cut that down, and then I was able to glue that in, and that covered those wraparound pieces right there. And then started off here with my first page, and this is my daughter when she was about 8 years old. And this page goes out like this, and then it opens like this. So you've got 3 panels, and then the next page does the same, or you can just open that up to 4 panels. Okay, so let me walk you through all of this, and it has lots more pages like that, but essentially they're a 4-panel sequence here. So on this page, I went ahead and I used a stencil. I used this Lavinia stencil. This one's called Flourishes. And once again, went back to my opal polish to apply that. I like to use a little bit of pixie spray to tack this down when I'm applying it, because this is a really great stencil, but it has a couple of pieces here that aren't connected. And so it's nice to have those really stay nice and flat when you're applying. And I'm going to demonstrate that in a minute. And then once that dried, I did that across all of the pages. And then I just went ahead and I did a tearing technique, which I'll show you later, on my rice paper. And I glued that here and to the other side, right here. And then I took a little scrap that I had left here, put that there, and then did a 6x4 matted photo. And I just matted all my photos with tan cardstock. And then this one, I also took another scrap and I just made a little pocket. So this would be great for ballet programs. And I just added tags and chipboard and little bits of ribbon for bows all across my little layout here. Okay, and then on the back here, I'm going to show you on this spread how to go ahead and use the stencil. So I've got this one here. I've already sprayed some of this pixie spray on here. You're just going to go ahead and put it just like this. And then apply that like this, but as you're putting it on the sponge, you're just wiping it off the edge so that you get a really nice thin layer on there. And then I just like to do a little bit of a pouncing method, especially when you have a stencil that's pretty delicate. I like to use this particular stencil by not going along that squared off edge, that rectangle, because then you get that rectangle, that straight line. So just kind of avoiding that straight line by applying it to the center part and kind of doing it sporadically, not covering the whole thing. Okay. And then filling in a little bit with this open area just by dabbing that a little bit. And then when you're all done, just take this sponge, take this sponge and immediately go and rinse this with cold water, and it'll stay nice and soft for you to use it again and again. All right, so let's take this off. There we go. So as you can see, we've got just that little bit right there. That's just sort of that first layer of this mixed media that we're doing. And then I could take some rice paper and I could put that on there, or I could put strips of paper across that. So that's how that goes. Now I wanted to show you one other thing here. So I use some of this rice paper. I'm going to be using the 7-inch circle and the 8-inch scallop circle chipboard. And we're going to do a little something using the rice paper. So the one I used for this is this one right here. I'm going to take this out of the package to give you a better look at this. Just really beautiful stuff. Rice paper is wonderful to tear. It's wonderful to decoupage. So the first thing I did was I went ahead and I rough cut, okay, just around the outside edge. I didn't really try to get close to the edge of this rose. And then I just glued that onto some white cardstock, okay, just a scrap of white cardstock. And I'll show you my little gluing technique. And then I let that dry, and then I cut that out, okay, so it's nice and stiff. My glue that I like to use, looking for my craft sheet and I'm not seeing it. I think it ran away. Okay, that's all right. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue, that, and then just a little bit of water. I'm just going to use my spray bottle. And just a little bit of water. Paintbrush, mix that up. So I actually like a little more watery than this. I like to be about 3 parts water, 2 parts glue. Go. Now, what we're going to do is take a little scrap here, this paper, and as you can see, I tore out the circle right here. And what I did was I just like to use a water brush. If you're not familiar with a water brush, just you squeeze, it's filled with plain clear water, you just squeeze it and it just pours out water. And I like to do that because then I can just do a continuous line like that. And you can just pull that, and it just makes a little trail, and then you can just pull that apart. The reason I'm doing that rather than cutting it is it just gives this really nice feathered edge. As you can see, that's what's going on right here around this. So once I've got this done, okay, so you can see when I tear it without the water, it still has a feathered edge, but it's just not as large a feathered edge, and it's a little more hard to control that tear. All right, so now once I've got this applied, there's a couple different ways I can apply it. I can use a paintbrush. I can just use my fingertips to apply it, which I'm kind of a fan of. And then I've also got this great little sponge stuff. And Sarah Newman loves to use this for her mixed media projects. This is called Cut and Dry Foam Stamp Pad. And on the back it gives you all these different things. You can use it for a stamp pad, to create backgrounds and things, or you can use it just sort of as a little applicator sponge. And I love that it just covers so much. So I'll just take this and I can just rinse this out, and I can use it over and over and over again. And I'm going to use it to apply stain in a little while. All right, and then I would just take that and you just go ahead and put that down on your chipboard. And you don't want to use like a ton of it. Go. Clean up my mess here. Normally I would use our craft mat. Don't know where it happened to it. Okay. So while that's drying, okay, hurry. While that's drying, we're going to take the scallop chipboard and add a little bit of, this is Vintage Antique antiquing paste. This stuff is great. And you just take a little bit of it. We can use our brush to apply it, or sponge to apply it here. And for this, I'm going to take and put it on a little piece of cardstock. It's a little, has a sort of a toothpaste, has a sort of a toothpaste texture to it. Go. A little like frosting. Don't eat it. All right, and we're going to take that and we're just going to go around the edges like this. Give that a little stain. And then once I've got that coverage on there, all the way around, then I'm going to go back over that and just kind of do this on that straight edge there, or rounded edge rather. There, just like that. All right, and now we're going to glue this. Now I've got a little bit of pink ribbon, and I'm going to make a hanger. But to do this, I'm going to make my hanger and glue it, instead of to the back of this, I'm going to glue it in between the layers here. A little bit of glue. To hang a specific way, so to hang like this. Get that a little farther apart. There we go. All right, now we're going to apply lots of glue around the outside edge here, right over that ribbon. And we're going to glue this to the scalloped piece. You just want to make sure that your music or your text or script writing or whatever is going straight across, kind of horizontally, so it's not wonky. Just going to put a little pressure on there. Let that grab. Right. Now we're going to go ahead and take our pieces here, and I've got some chipboard pieces and a little bow. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. We're just kind of winging it at this point. So first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down my little, rather violin, or is it a violin, or is it something larger? All right, and then we're going to take just a few pieces of foam squares, put those back. I like to get my foam tape primarily on the little bits of leaves that tend to kind of droop or could even tear off if they got jostled a little bit. So we want those to be secure. Taking off the little tabs. All right, now we're going to kind of put that right next to. And we've got some little ballet slippers. I think I'm going to use some foam tape on those as well. And we're just going to kind of right there. And we've got a couple of little signs. This one's Canterbury Hall, and this one's Let Your Passion Be Your Guide. I think we're going to use this one. Right on there. Right. And we've got a cute little heart piece, and we've got a couple of roses here. So we can just sort of tuck those under there. All right, I think we're going to tuck that piece, get a little glue on there. Ooh. Too much glue. Okay, we'll just use some right there. And maybe one more foam on this one. I want it to be a little bit higher than the other one. We've got our sweet little ribbon. We could add that right here. We could tuck that right there. I think I like that. Sort of right collection. There we go. This would look really sweet hanging in a little girl's room or your sewing room or your craft room. You don't have to be a dancer to love this. It can be just so sweet. So you guys, we've got a great money saver on this if you're watching us on our Webisode page. If you're watching us on our Webisode page at Paper Wishes, you would just look on the right-hand side. And, oops, there we go. Just, yeah, give a look on our right-hand side of our Webisode page. And that's the money saver. And you click on that, and it'll take you to that. And then below our video, we've also got a full gallery with photos and supply lists for all these projects. And then below that, we've got a drop-down list where you can look at all the pieces and products that we've used, and you can buy them individually. There are links. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, then look in the description box below the video for a link to paperwishes.com, and it'll take you to our Webisode page, and you'll see everything that I just talked about and more. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.